Yay. Yeah. And then I know we texted back and forth the other day, but if there's just anything in particular.
I'm back. Crash.
If there's anything in particular you want me to start with or focus on, Rachel?
Sorry about that. I have the dogs trapped in the office with me with my whiteboard, and it just totally fell over. My Yorkie's like 2 pounds. So I thought she was. Aww. Yes. So, Lynn, I just, there's a lot of new people, and I just really want them to know the importance of coming on board and getting people on board, and then having them really identify their 2 people, like right off the bat, because it's all about making consultants, and then it's all about going executives. So if you could just kind of focus a little bit on that would be great.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to change my view here so I can see all your faces. Okay, so this is really important, and I'll just share some things with you that I heard early on when I started on with Isagenix that have really served me and our team well, and then things that I kind of learned through the process that we have honed to really build so much momentum on our team. Because whether this is your first venture into network marketing or maybe you've been with another company, sometimes you have to unlearn what you know in order to relearn what works here. So I want to kind of shorten that learning curve for you so that you can just get off this Zoom call today and really have clarity and focus as a leader on, how do I help not only myself to get to where I want to go, but to help the most amount of people really understand. So if you think about, I'm a visual person. So if you think about, playing darts, and you're playing darts, and what are you aiming towards? Are you aiming towards the outside rim, or are you aiming towards the bullseye, right? I mean, you want everything that you do to get the biggest bang, right? The biggest result back. So if you think of a dartboard, you're aiming at the bullseye for a reason, right? It's the highest score on a win. And so I would just say to every one of you, let's play to win. Life is busy. Life is very busy. I know many of you have, am I going in and out, Rachel?
Yeah, hold on real quick, Lynn. I'm going to mute everybody, and then I'll unmute you. I was going to do it one on one just to not interrupt you, but hold on. Where are you? Why didn't I see you? There you are.
That I'll move.
Okay.
I'll move. Let me know if it does that again. Just kind of raise your hand or something, and I'll move to a different part of the house. But typically it works in here. So think about it that way, because I know that everybody is incredibly busy, and I want every one of you, with the time that you have, whether it's limited or maybe you have a day that you've got a lot of time, to get the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak, as far as the time and effort that you are putting into your Isagenix business. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So use visuals to help your team as well. Talk to them about the dartboard. Talk to them about aiming for the bullseye. So what is that? As soon as somebody shows even the little bit of interest in earning an income with Isagenix, you want to make sure that you from the very, very beginning kind of inject a culture of urgency. And it's the culture of urgency, not for yourself, not for your gain, it's for them. And so that's really, everything you say is to help that person and to say, I know you're busy. The time and effort that you're putting in, I want it to be the maximum result for you. So what has worked really well for our team, and we're the fastest growing teams in Isagenix, we have been for 5 years. It's not just right now, it was 5 years ago, and this has really, really worked. This is a winning team. We have so many 6-figure and 7-figure income earners that are on this team alone. So this team is only 5 years old, you guys. So you can say that. This team is only 5 years old in a company that's going on 15 years. And to have 3 going on 4 7-figure a year income earners is crazy. I mean, that's just amazing. And I need to add it up somewhere between 30 and 40 multiple six-figure income earners. We're approaching, gosh, I mean, I think this next year we're going to have so many new ISA millionaires. So you're definitely a part of a winning team, and that's really, really exciting to say, where else could you go with your background and experience to say that you have the opportunity, to earn a multiple six-figure income, even seven figures. And that's why I had posted on Rachel's post on the team page. I said, if you really want to know, how do you make a six-figure, a multiple six-figure, seven-figure income, get on this Zoom today, because I'm going to share it with you. And for some of you, you're going to think this just sounds too simple. I don't think that this could be true. And I'm telling you it is, because I have lived it. I've absolutely lived it. And it's creating a culture of urgency while vision casting in everything you do. So you want to have that posted on your phone, in your office, vision cast, casting a vision in everything you do. Whether you're talking with a prospect, whether you're talking with a new builder, are you casting a vision? Because people don't know what's possible until they know what's possible. And you're always casting a vision for products and business, always. For health and wealth, health and wealth. Imagine yourself. I can't wait to have that conversation with you after your first cleanse day and how you're going to feel. You're going to feel so amazing. I'm so excited for you to walk in your closet and pick what you want to wear, not because it hides you and not because that's what fits you, but because it's what you want to wear. It's those types of conversations, you guys, because when you talk about that, you are breathing life into that person, and they are so excited to get that box and to open it. So it starts with you from that very first conversation in casting a vision of how they're going to feel in their body a few days from now, halfway through their 30 days and throughout their entire 30 days. Why is that important? It's important because it's your long-term residual income. How important is it for your people to open that box quickly? It's important. How important is it for them to have a great result? It's important. So you can do it in the little nooks and crannies, but you need to be purposeful and you need to be intentional. People do not make 6 and 7 figures by accident. Last night I put up a post in Isagenix Business about different tips that you've gotten from Isagenix events. And one of them that I posted in the comments was, you don't earn a 7-figure income with 10-cent habits. So think about that. Can you earn a 7-figure income with 10-cent habits? And so I think we need to get really clear on ourselves, right? And how we're showing up in our business, because it starts with us. And I knew from day one, July of 2011, when I started, that I needed to show up as a 7-figure income earner, when at that point I was only in the hole, right? I mean, I had spent money, I had gone to an event, I had bought my first President's Pack, my value pack. I hadn't made a dime yet, but it was important for me to show up big and to show up confident and to let people know that partnering with me and showing up with me, like, we were going to figure this out, and this is where we're going. We're going to impact so many lives. We're going to help people feel better than they've ever felt. And here's the cool thing. You all are a part of a team that, I can just hardly even contain myself when I see all of your incredible results you guys are having on the products. So grab all of those testimonials. And, the other thing I posted on that post that I heard at an event was, be your own lookbook. In Isagenix, we have that amazing lookbook. Mm-hmm. Be your own lookbook. How important is that in this company? It's huge. So even if you were already fit and from the outside, it maybe didn't show, like a dramatic weight loss, you can still show up more vibrant. Our skin is more vibrant, our hair, like all the way up into my 20s, 30s, in the beginning of my 40s when I started in Isagenix, I have like this crazy, frizzy, fine hair that would like never grow. And now it's like, I have long hair, and I know I'm kind of an old person to have long hair, but I've wanted it my whole life. I'm like, okay, so it took Isagenix and getting on this amazing nutrition to actually have a healthy body, healthy hair, healthy skin, healthy nails. It's getting healthy from the inside out. So anyway, my point is, are you your own best lookbook? So work on that. It's your $1 million story. You want to do a 30-day system as if it's worth $1 million, because guess what, you guys? It is. It is. That story stays with you. So if you've been kind of sort of doing it, if you've been kind of, taking the shakes, get on it and follow it to a T. I cannot tell you the stories that I've heard, even from Isagenix millionaires, sadly, that will say, well, I took the products all along, but then I actually followed the system and wow, look, like it works. Like, well, it does. So that's number one. Use the products and follow the product system, because you will be your own best example, right, of the Isagenix lifestyle. And I'm not saying that you need to have, a Lori Harder body. I want to maybe have a Lori Harder body. I'd like to, but I'm not sure I'm committed. But that's okay. I feel great. I feel great. My skin. I have a great result. So that's number one. Yeah, I love Lori too. She's amazing. So that's number one, products. But then it's business, you guys. Show up. Like, how much would you pay if you had a business where you had employees? How much would you pay someone that was doing what you were doing in your Isagenix business? So again, it's just taking a personal inventory on what you're actually doing, like your business building activities, your income producing activities. How much would you pay yourself to do the amount of effort and focused activity that you've been doing? So that's something to think about. And then the other is, would you enroll with yourself? Knowing what you've now been in Isagenix for a while and you had the opportunity to enroll, would you want to enroll with you? And I remember the very first time I heard that, it was kind of like, oh, I may want to go enroll with that person. And you're like, well, why though? Why? Are they showing up as a better leader? Are they more present? Do they really answer questions? Do they provide their team with incredible tools and support? What is it that is drawing you to a certain leader? And be that. Because that in this business is what attracts people, right? And it's through that social media to say, I want to be with that person. They're doing something. Like, that's incredible. That's a phenomenal leader to follow. Okay, so those are a few things as far as how to show up with a millionaire mindset, because you've got to have that millionaire mindset before you can attract a team that will bring you to a millionaire. And I really do, when I think back to those first several months that were really my launching pad to becoming the fastest person to earn $1 million in Isagenix, was absolutely my ability to cast a vision. I heard it from my team all the time. They're like, Lynn, I called you because I had a question and I got off the phone and about drove off the road. I was so excited after getting off the phone with you. So do people leave phone calls with you like that? Like, no matter what it is, even if they called you about a product question, do you leave them so fired up to go talk to somebody? Like, this is what we're doing. This is what happened today. People are attracted to that because guess what? In life, it's wah, 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 wah. Around them is all this doom and gloom. And then all of a sudden you come into their life and you just light it up with what's going on and that you want them to be a part of it. So from the very beginning, and what we duplicated was the culture of getting to consultant as soon as possible. So if I was talking with Pam and she was new and she said, I think I would like to get my products paid for. I think this business sounds really, really great. Pam, that is awesome. Who do you know? Let's get you to consultant right away. That's one on your left, one on your right. Plus, it's so much more fun to go through your first product system with other people. Let's do it right away. And here's why. I want you to be able to get paid on everything. And you can't do that until you've enrolled one on your left and one on your right. That is a conversation we should be having, like it's just flowing out of our mouth, and say, even in the very beginning when someone's not quite sure and they're just getting on the products, you can talk about the product page, real people, real results, and to say, who do you know that might be interested in this great information? It is so much more fun to do this with other people. Think about it. If you go and work out, isn't it fun to take some friends along with you, to have workout buddies? If you go out to eat, isn't it more fun with friends? It's so much more fun with friends. Plus, we found that people have better results if they do it with friends. So you've got to give people reasons why. Why would they want to bring some friends along? Because why do you want to keep it a secret? You're wanting to feel more fit, as you start, getting close to the end of 2016 into 2017. You don't want to gain all that holiday weight. Let's do this with a group of friends. This is so great, and I'll help you. It's so much fun. Again, it's painting the big picture. Now, not everybody's going to do that, which is why you again, as the leader, have to set the pace. It's like, how many times is the isogenic story being told today? By you, by someone on your team, by a tool, by an event. The box is only big enough for a number, not an excuse. So do you think when I joined Isogenics and my left a multiple six-figure income behind, there was no other money coming into my household, zero, nothing. Do you think that I talked to a few people and then just kind of, kept talking to them all day long? Or do you think maybe I was reaching out to people until I couldn't call them anymore? Yeah, right? I mean, it's the second one. And so, I find that people they're not doing enough. And then when they talk to a few people, then they kind of sit with that and they're okay with that instead of continuing to go. My pipeline is always full, always. I'm always, putting things on Facebook. I'm joining different groups. I'm reaching out to people when I'm out and about. The pipeline is always full. Still to this day, Michael and I really live and breathe by that. We're not as enrolling as many people now because, we have a lot of business centers, and isn't it great to know you don't have to? But we're always consistently adding people to the pipeline all the time. I mean, nobody comes over to our house without hearing about Isogenics. No one comes and fixes our, dishwasher without hearing about Isogenics. I mean, we live and breathe it. We talk about it because we know that people really want and need what we have. So the great thing about Real People, Real Results is really creating a culture within your organization of how many people are you adding to that group every week. Because it's so easy just to do kind of like some blitz days. Blitz days are fun. And you can do those through Zoom. So you can get a group of local people over, and then you can Zoom with other people, and you call it a blitz day. And the whole intention of that blitz day or blitz hour or blitz 4 hours is to send as many messages as you can. And we've had a lot of success with that, and it's fun. I mean, you can do some fun prizes. But what's great about it is that those that get distracted with other things for a solid period of time, that is the focus. Asking people to take a look, adding people to the group page, getting on a 3-way call, inviting them to lunch. And so when everybody's sitting together, they're able to share ideas. They can share some different copy and paste. I'm just throwing out some ideas here to help you guys up your activity, because if you're adding people to the group and then you're adding content, remember that's incredibly important to add content in Real People, Real Results. Otherwise, you're not dripping on the 100 or 200 people that you have in that page. It's really, really important. But I will say that people really utilizing that on a daily basis and adding people to that page, and it's as simple as asking someone for a thumbs up, are enrolling the most people, without a doubt. I mean, we have so many stats on that now on our team that you just make it a part of what you do. And so creating team blitz days are really, really fun, because someone could be sitting here saying, oh, well, you know what? My friend Joe just asked me this question. What do I say? And then Sue's right there saying, well, I'd say this. And it's just great banter back and forth. And after, participating in a few blitz days, it's so fun. They're like, man, like I've talked to more people today than I have in the last month. You're like, I know, and it really works, and it's so much fun. So you guys, up the energy, up the amount of activity. Because here's the thing. I don't know where you came from as far as different companies and what it was like for you as you approach the end of the year. This is a huge time in Isogenics. Like, this is not a time to take your foot off the gas pedal, because think about New Year's resolutions. Think about that. And it starts right now. If someone says, oh, well, I want to get through the holidays. You're like, no, don't do that. The holidays are maybe just a couple days, right? In the whole 30 days, and say you can get off the wagon and, drink a lot of eggnog and drink too much and, eat too much cake and pie, and you can still get right back on it the next day and have incredible results in 30 days. Make sure people understand it's not about finding the perfect 30 days to start. You're probably noticing across the board in Isagenix, people talking about that, posting about it, feel amazing through the holidays. And here's why. You will be in massive momentum through the end of this month. And I'll tell you, when I first started, my biggest bonus check, leadership pool, was in December. December of 2012 or 2011, which was the year that I joined. So I started in July. In December of 2011, I had a $49,000 leadership pool bonus. So you can't say that it doesn't work in December. Why? Because we as a team built it as such. We're like, let's go, let's run. People want to feel great, but you've got to be having those conversations and you need to believe it. Yeah, snap, girl. So, you know, it's all about mindset. Maybe some of you have heard the story about the 2 shoe salesmen going to another country to sell shoes. I don't know if you guys have heard that story. And the one shoe salesman came back and said, oh my gosh, this is the worst. You know, it's like nobody wears shoes there. This is awful. I'm not going to make any money. And then the other shoe salesman came back to the company and said, this is amazing. Nobody wears shoes. I'm selling shoes like crazy. It's what's between their ears. The one thought, oh, this isn't going to work. Nobody buys shoes. And the other one saw it as an opportunity. I'm telling you, for those of you that sees it, that have the mindset around it, that are casting a vision for it and saying, as a team, let's make this the biggest month we've ever had. Let's show Isagenix and Isagenix family what's possible. And let's help as many people as possible feel the best they can going into 2017. And also make a commitment to ourselves to be that example. I mean, show people on your social media that you're having fun, that you're going to the holiday parties, and say, isn't this great? I can partake in all this amazing knife and fork food, and tomorrow I can wake up and have my shake and feel amazing and hit that reset button and feel extraordinary. Isn't it great that we can do this alongside? Because otherwise, of course, what we get from the whiners and the naysayers and the complainers is, oh, you people, all you do is drink shakes, and I don't want to drink shakes my whole life. I'm like, either do I, and I like my wine, and we like to go out to eat. So it's important that we show all sides of it, and to continue to show, our success on the product. So hopefully you're seeing or hearing from me, it starts with you, right? And it definitely starts with casting a vision. So here's the other piece. So you may be thinking, Lynn, how did you make $49,000 in December of 2011? Okay, it is about your success. It's about posting your success. If you want to attract others to you, you need to show others success. So that's really important. You want to think about on your team, who can you come alongside and help get their manager bonus, get their director bonus, get their executive bonus? Who can you come alongside and really just elevate them and highlight them on your social media and within your team pages? It's really important. And I think that that's one of the things that we did really well, is it was very obvious to those that were watching that there were a lot succeeding. There were a lot succeeding. And we knew it was very, very important. When someone did U+2 in consultant, that's huge, right? Because that's the first step to manager. But those of you that are going to take this and run with it and create the most extraordinary life and lifestyle for yourself, you have to understand that your success is absolutely predicated on your ability to move someone from A to C to M to D to E. Associate, consultant, manager, director, executive. That's it. I mean, it almost needs to be the point where it becomes such a mantra for you and in your organization that they hear it every day. Your live videos, your trainings, your team calls. Okay, you're a consultant. When are you going manager? Draw it out for people. Go into their back office. Say, you only need one more person. Sue only needs one more person. You've got David over here who has 2. Sue only needs one more. She's got one on her right. She only needs one more on her left. What do we need to do? Let's do this together. You guys, it's focusing on that. It's so important. Because when you do that and you set that example, not only for yourself, first of all, for any of you that are not executives, you want to get to executive as fast as you can because your product story is important, right? But so is your title and your money story. It's really important. So maybe think about, what can I put on the side right now that I'm doing that's distracting me from that goal? What's distracting me from my goals and my dreams? Isagenix will be a multi-billion-dollar company. The Cougars have said it so many times. Their goal is to be bigger than Johnson & Johnson. 2017, we have 7 new product launches. We're moving into the UK and the European Union, which will be the biggest launch in our history. You want to build a wide, huge organization here in the domestic market, here in North America, so that you have all these fingers that know people in the UK and the European Union, right? You guys, and I know you know this, for those of you that have even been in for a week, our products are making a difference. You know, when you get rid of the junk and you feed your body the most amazing nutrition, your body works for the very first time. You know we have something extraordinary, but are you casting that vision so that the people on your team don't just see it as some shake company? Are you casting that vision? Are you sharing that over and over again? What makes our products different? Do they really understand? Because if not, they'll be in and out. So is it going to take a little bit of work on your part? It will. But create systems for it. Do you have videos? You know, I created a video. You guys have probably seen it on Real People, Real Results. You know, why do a 1 day or 2 day deep cleanse? I did that for that reason, because I wanted people to understand, like, what do our products really do? What makes them special? Because that is what is going to make you a 6- and 7-figure income, but not if they don't know, right? Not if they don't understand. So think about that with the people that are coming on board. Is there an urgency? Is there an urgency to win? Are you creating a culture in your organization to move and to move quickly? Because people do like money. You know, it's like, do they stop using the products if the products are paid for? No. You know, do they stop their auto ship when their products are being paid for? Do they stop building a business when they're earning, you know, that check on Monday? That's what drives them to keep moving. So absolutely, the reason why I built to Millionaire faster than anyone is I was laser being focused on getting to executive as fast as I could. In every conversation I was having with people on my left and right, casting a vision, same thing. For them, of course, based on what they wanted and based on their schedule. But it was ACMDE, and we were always talking about the leadership pools. Yeah, Dana, you have a question?
There's a couple people that need to mute. So Love Life Sally, and then somebody else that just hopped on, because we're getting a lot of feedback.
Okay.
So if you don't have the red thing across your microphone, if you wouldn't mind doing that. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, cool. So is this making sense, what I'm saying so far? So it's really, try not to complicate it, because the longer you're in and the more you know, sometimes the harder it is to know kind of how to zero in on what it is that you're talking about. So, you know, it's really important to keep the main thing the main thing. What is the main thing? It's how many times is the Isagenix story being told? You as leaders creating, you know, fun blitz days or blitz hours or, you know, blitz 3 or 4 hours where it's focused asking activity. Ask. Because as great as social media is, yeah, Dana?
So, okay, I don't mean to stop your role here, but I love that idea. I did that twice a week. Me and some other leaders on our team did that twice a week in our previous company, and it really did work well. Do you have already in place, or if not, maybe we can throw out some ideas of some scripts or some you know, reasons to get on the phone with people? Are we cold messaging people? I mean, we used it more for follow-up, but can you walk us through what that looks like here at Isagenix?
Yeah, I have some different scripts, and I can create an Evernote for it, Dana, because it's going to be both. The great thing about having Real People, Real Results is that's an easy one for people to kind of sit and just kind of copy paste. I call it copy paste, customize, you know, asking for a thumbs up to be added to the group. And so that's so fantastic. And so what we've done is we've incorporated that. And what's so great about that is that you have that brand new person who in a period of maybe, 2, 3, 4 hours just added 25 people to the group because they've never sat there that long with that focus, because we get so distracted. We get on Facebook to do those things and then someone's live pops up, right? And we start watching and then we forget what we sat down to do. And I think that that's why these things are so important. And it's great to get whoever you can get local. I will say, Dana, it's fun to be together. But for those of you that live away from people, you can Zoom them in so that they feel a part of it. But that's probably been, because we had a gal from Australia get on our Zoom on week 3 of our 90-day game plan. She was on week 2, I think. And so many team members have started to do that. And it's always a success, always. So I think, really getting kind of some set times to do those, I think are really, really great. And then the other thing too that I've learned from like Laura Stevens, because on her team, she has more executives promoting than anyone else in the whole entire company. And this is a gal who, joined only, I think, less than 3 years ago, earns a 7-figure income, has never been in network marketing, but really creates a culture of unity on their team. And they're always talking about executive, getting into the director pools, getting into the executive pools. And they do some fun things. So even once you're a manager or director, you can kind of do your own incentives and say, I'll send you a shaker cup. She's like, it doesn't have to be fancy, but just fun things like fun giveaways, some fun incentives. But as a group, they're always seeing all this energy around executive. And have you all seen where people have put the sticky notes on the wall? Have any of you seen that? Mm-hmm. I'll find it and post it on the success page again. But this is something that was shared by a gal named Jordan on the team. And what she did, so it'd be like on my wall behind me, is she took a sticky note. She had her name on the top one, and then she put sticky notes down for 5 and 5, and then sticky notes for their 2. Mm-hmm. So she was always able to see on her wall exactly who she had, exactly how much BV they had, and who was missing. We are visual people. We're not going to reach for what we don't know is there. Does that make sense? We're visual people. So have your sticky notes on your wall for who you have and their names, the 2 sticky notes below each one so you know who they need for their 2 to become consultants, how much BV they have. And then you just set out with focused intention. And here's why I know it works with focused intention is Isagenix, it was sometime last year, did a reset. They call it a reset, where those that have passed their 6 months, they allow them to get to executive again to get that $1,000. And when that reset was about to end, they would go from 2 consultants to 10 in 24 hours. Mm-hmm. So someone shared this with me once. It's kind of like this. And maybe this isn't a fair example, but I think you all will get my point. If I talked to you, Dana, and I said, one of your children is sick, okay, and they have a life-threatening illness that you just found out about, but you found out that there's an antidote. There's an antidote for it, and only one person has it, and they said, all you have to do is get to executive. As soon as you're executive, I will give you the antidote to save their life. How long would it take you to get to executive?
Minutes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
45 minutes.
So, mm-hmm. Exactly. So I know it's not a fair example because we're not talking about the life of our child, but I think it helps you to immediately get a picture of the how bad do you want it part. You have to pay your mortgage or you lose your home. You have to pay your bill for your utilities or they get shut off. So we pay those bills. But when we have a goal for ourselves and we don't go after it with everything, why do we do that? I mean, why do we go, to our own goals and our own desires? Because your ability to build to executive and to just push through it, you don't have to build your business like that forever, you guys. but to just get there and to show it's possible, to say you've done it. Like, these are the stones that I turned over to make it happen. This is what I pushed through to make it happen. When I fell down, this is what I did to get back up. Like, this is what I did. You're then going to be able to have those same conversations with your team and say, as a group, let's push like we've never pushed before. Let's get to director and executive to dive into those leadership pools to show people that helping people to feel better than they've ever felt before and to bring much needed income into families is life-changing. Does that make sense? I mean, like, urgency, push, stretch, find a stretch buddy, you know, all those things. Like, frolic out on the skinny branch, do something you haven't done before, do it in teams, do it together, create fun private message threads. But to say, let's do this, like, let's not allow any excuses in. Let's go for this and let's show people what's possible. Because as you're going for executive, and then you've identified who on your team is going for executive, you have to understand how much faster people flow into your organization. And then one last thing, and then we can kind of open it for questions, is really taking time to help people understand how to choose the right pack. Because that is, I don't want to say it's time consuming because it takes effort. You could even create a video so that you're not having to have the same conversation over and over again. So if you feel like you're having the same conversation over and over again, like, here's why a value pack, here's why a president's pack, create a video so that someone says, I really don't know which I should choose. You know, why should I spend $559 instead of, $350? Like, why should I do that? Well, here's why. Because I can tell you that when people get off the phone with me, they want a president's pack. Now, I'm not going to say that everyone does, because sometimes it truly does come down to, like, I don't have that on my credit card. I don't have that in my bank account, and I understand that. But for some, they do. They're just choosing not to because they don't know why. And so they're going to start as low as possible. So if they start as low as possible, but they actually would find the money for a president's pack, we didn't do our job. President's Pack, the value pack, has the highest retention in the company. If you go to the pinned post of success, our Zoom video channel has a video done by me. It's a webinar on how to share the value, the benefits of the value in President's Pack. And the people that have watched that and watched it over and over and over again, they always come back to me and say, oh my gosh, Lynn, I hardly ever had people start with that value pack. And now I have them start with that almost every time. It's a mindset. And the reason I'm saying this is several reasons. Number one, highest retention, and it's the highest retention for a reason, okay? And it's because people have a great result. They have the sticky products. They have the bars, the sticky products, I mean, like the bars and the Isodelites for when they have their cleanse day. They have their vitamins. They're going to feel amazing, incredible, right? And that's over 300 BV, over 300 BV versus, 164 BV, or maybe even 100, starting with the minimum of 100 BV. So if you think about it, as your organization starts to grow, and I had this conversation with a leader the other day, because even though they're bringing in a lot of people, the cycles weren't as high as they thought. And I said, well, it's because people are coming in with the minimum all the time. And if they're coming in with the minimum all the time, they may not even be having the result that they want. If they're not having the result that they want, then they're not really having the retention that you want. And you can see how it just becomes this vicious cycle. So you want to really, that is one thing we did from the very beginning, is our team was a President's Pack team. I mean, we talked about it all the time. People understood the value and benefits of the President's Pack. If you talk with Tanya Kirkpatrick, who again is one of the fastest growing teams, and goodness, I mean, probably between 1 and 2 million this year. She's been in a short period of time. She will tell you too. She has over and over and over again talked about why would you want to start with the President's Pack. And when people understand that, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard her story, but when Isagenix was shared with her, the person would not back down from a value pack. They said, Tanya, you're telling me that you want to feel incredible. You want to feel amazing. And you maybe even would like to build a business, but you're not sure. And then just listed all the reasons that I did on that webinar, of why she would want to start that way. And she went home, got an envelope in her lingerie drawer, as she tells the story, wrote, President's Pack, wrote Isagenix on it, and it was their Isagenix fund. She said, what if my sponsor, Tracy, had backed down? You know, she said, I started with the President's Pack. I had an amazing, epic result. My husband saw my result. Then he wanted to. And then guess what? It's been the trickle for her organization of amazing results with the highest retention President's Pack with 300 BV flowing in every time someone starts, and it starts to multiply. So all of these things, again, start with you. Start with your leadership, understanding that casting a vision does require repetition. And so that your team hears that message over and over and over again. So I'm so excited for all of you. We're going into an amazing season with the end of the year, New Year's resolution, but only if you're beginning to cast that vision, you know, for you and your team right now. Mm-hmm. But any questions? And Rachel, is there anything I didn't cover that you wanted me to cover?
Yes, Lynn, it's just absolutely amazing. And how many of you have the Millionaire Mindset CDs that Lynn did? Okay, if you want to listen to Lynn every single day, which I do in my car, then you need to get those. And you can get it right in the tools, right? In the back office.
Well, yes. Yes, at ISA Sales Tools. But you know what? I have something better. And maybe Rachel, you guys could put your heads together. Let's do kind of a fun incentive over this next week. And I will even do some giveaways where I'll give some away for the team. So
that would be great.
Yeah.
You know,
let's talk about that.
You know, and Pam, you and I were talking about this in the car while we were listening to Lynn yesterday. You know, how many of you want runners in your business? Y'all want runners? Do we pray for runners? Okay, but do we first need to be a runner in order to attract the runner? And do we need to be really good at casting the vision like Lynn has done for us today? So why not study somebody and try to actually emulate them and be them so that you sing when you talk? Do you guys notice how she talks? She's very excited. She sings when she talks. Like, I seriously picture, you know, little birds flying around your head, and I just want to ask you to go and like hang out with you all day long because you're contagious. So are you contagious when you talk about the products? Are you contagious when you talk about the business? You need to be contagious and you need to be excited because you need people to want to be your best friend, right? And hang around with you and really do what you've done. So you need to get out there and build your body story, and you need to build your money story, like your life depends on it. And Lynn has told me this from day one, which is what I've been doing. My body story, I'm going to the gym. I'm more dedicated than I've ever been. And I feel healthier than I've felt in 7 years. And I knew the urgency of building my money story. Because if I want to attract those people into my business, people that want to come in and run to the top of this company, then I need to be that first. Because if I'm not that, I'm not going to attract those people. So that's what I love most about you, Lynn, and that's why I wanted you to get on today, is because you are such an incredible vision caster. And it's something that I just want to get better at. And so how do I do that? Is I listen to Lynn every day in my car, and I try to emulate her. And I did that from the very beginning 17 years ago. I used to do that with Shannon Johnson. I thought, you know what? I'm super shy. I've never done anything like this, but I'm just going to study her. I studied the way she talked. I studied the way she segued into different conversations. I studied everything about her. And so I think that's really, really important.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, do you guys have any questions? Because I want you to know that for really any of us, we're not born this way. You know, it's something that we work on. But I always say, I have this little thing that people get used to me saying, how bad do you want it? You know, being more of a quiet introvert sort of personality, it's something that I've had to work on. Introverted people can still be passionate. So it's not that I'm not passionate. I'm just not that person that, you know, in a party is, you know, I'm more one that kind of sits back and talks to the few people around me. So it's been within my own personality, but I wanted this and still do want this very, very bad. And even last night, my son was working on homework, so we were just kind of sitting there together, and I was pulling together all these things to learn and grow myself, like kind of thinking about where am I right now? You know, if you feel like you're stagnant, it's because you're not reading, you're not listening. It's like, what are you listening to? What are you reading right now that's growing you? Because if you're not sure what to say, I always find I put myself out there more in social media when I'm reading something amazing that ignites me, and that inspires me. But I guess the point is, I've worked really, really hard to get myself personally to this level. It hasn't been by accident. It was by purposeful, intentional design in saying, I want my life to look different. I want to create something amazing. I want to attract phenomenal men and women into my business. Well, I'm not going to attract them if I'm not that person, that they want to work with. So I'm just excited for all of you, because in the process, you become such a stronger human being, and it allows you to give more of yourself. It really, really does. So that's a great part of this business. But any of you have any questions? You'll need to unmute yourself if you do.
I have one. Did you do cold calling when you got through your warm market?
I never got through my warm market, and I still haven't. And that's a choice, right? I mean, it's one of those things where, and this is just, and maybe it's not fair for me to say this, but I'm just going to say it. Now, remember, when I started in network marketing, I was an introverted mother of 3 kids who went to work and came home. I didn't really go out. I didn't have a huge social circle. I lived in a town of 6,000 people that was about 45 minutes from, the biggest city. It was in a time when we didn't have social media, because it was in 2003. So it was before Facebook, was really out there. And so I had to be very purposeful and intentional on building my warm market. And in this day and age of social media, if any of you ever says, I'm out of warm market, you've stopped trying. And I'm sorry if that doesn't feel good, but I do believe it. And it's because you're not adding people. You're not putting yourself into social situations where you're meeting new people. If you're going to yoga, stop going to that yoga studio. Go to another one. If you're in a gym and you've talked to everyone, go to another gym. If you love photography, you're joining some photography Facebook groups. If you like scrapbooking, you're joining scrapbooking Facebook groups. Now, not to spam them, it's to get to know them. It's to add value in that group for photography. It's to add value in that group for scrapbooking, because then what happens is they're like, oh, who's this Lynn that's helping me with Photoshop? I have so many scrapbooking and photography friends from all the things that I enjoy doing with digital and Photoshop and digital scrapbooking, and I love those people. But what's great about it is I don't talk about that stuff in that group, but they friend me because I add value in their life, and then they see the stuff that I post, and they're like, well, what is this that you do? This is interesting. So again, it's by design. Michael is in a group that's it's called Nebraska Through the Lens. It has like 150,000 members, and they post pictures of Nebraska. And so he'll do that from time to time. Again, it's just being creative. It's like, how are you always adding new people to your Facebook? And I don't know if you all know that when you go into Messenger, if you click on your phone and then click on the little Messenger icon, on an iPhone down at the bottom, it says Home, Calls, Groups, People, Me. If you click on the Me, where it says Me in Messenger, and on like a Samsung, I think it's just a picture of a person, I think. But if you click on Me, a scan code comes up. You see that? So if I'm out and about, it's such a great way to strike up a conversation, because you say, I would love to connect with you on Facebook. So instead of trying to scroll through Facebook to try and find them, you say, let me show you this real cool thing. Have you ever seen this scan code? They're like, no. So it's kind of this fun dialogue back and forth. Well, then when you click on this, you can see my scan code comes up, and then at the top it says scan code. So if I click on scan code, this comes up, and then I just put my phone over their scan code, and it instantly connects me to them. So you learned something new today. So that's another thing, Dana. It's like Michael and I kind of have this fun little thing where every day we try and do that with someone when we're out and about, because then you connect with them. You can send them a private message that way, and then send them a friend request. And so it's just always being purposeful and intentional to expand your reach. So I can say that I have never been, that's about as close to it's a long answer to your question, Dana, but that's about as close as I can get to cold calling, because I just have never needed to do it, because I'm never, ever going to stop expanding what becomes my warm market, if that makes sense. Because the cold market is harder.
Hey,
so you don't ever want to get to this point.
Okay, so the people that we've added to Real People, Real Results that have not come on board yet, what are your suggestions? Because I mean, there's so many of them, and I feel like that is still such an incredible market, because they showed interest once upon a time, and for whatever reason, the ball was dropped. And I followed up with them, like checking in. Obviously, I'm adding content to RPRR. What are some tips that you can share for, I don't know, re-stimulating? I don't know. I don't even know the word to ask.
It's a really great question, because you don't want to be a stalker.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to make sure that you're consistently following up and checking in, but not so much that they're like, oh my gosh, this is driving me crazy. Why did I ever say I wanted to be in here? So, again, it's being, it's that fine line and that fine balance. But if you have a tracking system and everybody that's in there, then slowly over time, you can kind of let a little bit more time pass between checking in. But here's the great news, Jennifer, is that those on our team that have been in there since the very beginning will tell you, just stick with what you're doing and keep adding content, and add a lot of, the different before and afters. Think about what they're going to see, because sometimes the content we're putting in there is just something to put in there, but it's not really thought out. You want to make sure that it's experiential, that it's real, that it shows up as you, that it's not, just an article, because they're going to scroll past it in their newsfeed. Okay. So really think about what is going to cause them to pause the scroll. Because when you post in Real People, Real Results, the people you have added that you're Facebook friends with, there's a very good chance that that's going to show up in their newsfeed. And so you want to make sure it's something that's going to stop the scroll. And here's the other cool thing, is that here's what I'm hearing from so many that have been in there for now, a year and a half. They're like, I can't believe it. This person just reached out to me. They've never said boo. It's been complete crickets. They've never liked anything I've put in there. They've never commented on it. They have never responded to my private messages. And then all of a sudden, they're ready to go. So it's just kind of understanding that, Jennifer, that there's really no perfect thing to say. But whenever Isogenics has a new flavor shake, whenever they have a special shipping, that is usually when I take the time to go through all of them and message them, because it's a tool you have in your toolbox to say, hey, didn't want you to miss out. Now could be a good time, and especially with going into the holidays, you could even do kind of a fun little follow-up with that, saying, feel amazing, don't gain that extra 5 pounds through the holidays. So those are some little tips to help, but there's really no magic formula other than patience, which is hard sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. Can you hear me? Am I unmuted?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So as I'm, still working on the warm market, I'm now getting very aggressively into market and putting myself in situations like gyms, because that's my comfort zone, is like that whole fitness arena. So do you have any suggestions as I'm sitting with a trainer or a gym owner? And all this vision casting is awesome, but and I don't know, maybe you've probably done this, Lynn, I don't know, but what do I take? What am I showing them? The lookbook, the Team Isogenics little pamphlet, the amped pamphlet. Do you have any other thoughts?
When it's vision casting with a trainer, many times, this is just my experience with trainers, they're trainers because they're passionate about exercise, right? They're passionate about that. But very few make a great living. Right. They make okay money. And they have horrible hours.
Right.
So you want to think about that. all the trainers that I've ever heard speak in Isogenics talk about this is a way for them to continue doing what they love, which is to help people have incredible health results and to have better results in the gym, but to earn a whole nother stream of income. And if I had to kind of give a blanket big picture, that's it. Jackson Parr is a great example. I mean, here's a guy who was, a picker packer in the warehouse, you guys. I mean, he was just a young kid in his 20s. And in the evenings would do private training for his girlfriend's friends to make extra money. Met a gal in the gym that shared Isogenics, and Jackson Parr is now an Isogenics millionaire in Australia who used to be a picker packer in a warehouse in his 20s. And it was because he understood how many people in gyms really struggle financially. So you have to connect the dots, Pam, and to show them, here's a way for you to work in what you love and build a whole nother income stream, helping other people to have the results that they actually want. So you need to speak their language, right? And you want them to not only have their clients have better results, it's a win-win. Your clients have better results, and you've got this whole nother stream of income. And I do feel that trainers, I mean, we have so many successful people in Isogenics. I mean, that whole huge boom in Australia happened from gym owners. It was a bunch of CrossFit box gym owners that realized they were struggling. They were working in what they loved, making hardly anything. And now they're multiple 6-figure and 7-figure income earners all over Australia from these personal trainer and gym owners.
Okay. I have a question. Okay, so I have a couple of ladies who have been interested and they've looked at the products. One of them actually has used some of the products before, but when she went to my page to sign up, she was like, well, that's so expensive and I don't want to pay the fee to, be in or whatever, because at the time we didn't have any codes. And she said that she was going to go on Amazon to purchase it. Of course, I explained to her that to check the dates and make sure that they were okay, because sometimes they're not that good. How would you get over that? What would you say to them to encourage them to go ahead and order from you instead of going on Amazon to get it?
That is, again, it's a personal conversation, and it's making sure they understand how important it is for you, and that because then they want to purchase through you. I mean, we're going to be dealing with this. I mean, Isogenics has a whole department, for eBay, for Amazon. In fact, they just hired an outside company that is going to send legal letters to these people, because sometimes they're hard to find. But it's really just having a personal conversation with them and understanding that, they have you as a coach. I mean, you really want to paint the picture of you as the personal coach. I'm your coach. I'm your mentor. I've been doing this for a while. I've coached so many people. This is something you could even do like if you think about some of the top objections you get in Isogenics, why not talk about it ahead of time? So in your private messages and in your conversations, really paint the big picture of you and that you're a part of the package. Like, you're going to be a part of this winning team. We have incredible coaches. We have some private Facebook groups. They're going to hear all that as you're talking with them and think, well, I don't want to go buy this on Amazon. I'm not going to have any of this support. Plus, there are definitely people out there on Amazon that are getting empty bottles. They fill it up with other stuff. They use the products. They fill it up with, product that's not even Isogenics product. It's definitely a problem. You don't know what you're going to get. And then if you paint the big picture of getting their products paid for, they're not going to do that either, because they're getting it off of Amazon. So I would say the biggest thing, though, is making sure that you sell yourself. That not only do they want to do Isogenics, but they want to work with you. Like, I want to work with Shelly because she's going to coach me. I want to work with Jennifer. She's going to coach me. I want to work with Donna. I have a personal coach. And there's a lot of teams that do a really good job of that, to where it's such a part of the conversation that someone just couldn't even imagine going somewhere else.
Yeah, and they also won't get the 30-day money back guarantee.
Exactly.
Yeah. I want to add something as a trainer too, because everything that you said, Lynn, is so on point. I can't tell you how many times people will buy Pilates equipment and not know how to do it, or
Right.
not know what to do with it. And I think that our products are just the same thing. I mean, it's not just a shake, it's a system. And, so when they're buying it, they're buying your coaching. They really, really are. So it's just until they get that, like Lynn said, you come with that. Other than that, it's just like buying a piece of equipment. It can sit there forever. And I see that all the time in Pilates. Well, they want that reformer or whatever, and then they get it and they don't even know the best way to use it. So
no, it's perfectly said, Jennifer. And I think you could even create a portfolio, over time, of your sideline friends, some of the people that have come on board with you, and to say, this is the result of our successful coaching. I mean, really, really sell yourself, because your time is worth something. You're worth something. What you've learned is worth something. All the research you have done is worth something. So you really want to sell what they're getting joining you. So that was a really good question. Thank you.
One other question real quick. Okay, so I was with another company, and my leader in that company actually joined me. But then after receiving her pack, the same day she called me, she said, I just don't know that I can do this. I don't know how I can promote it, because in the other one, we had a product that we could lead with. We could walk up to people and share that, and they could use it right away. What can we do or what could I have told her to try to help her understand that we don't have to have, or maybe we do have it. I don't know. I'm still new. I'm kind of ignorance on fire here. So I don't know what we can do that can put us out there other than sharing on Facebook. And she didn't want to at the time because she hadn't resigned from the other company yet. So what can I show them or tell them that they can lead with, other than selling themselves, and the fact that they're going to be their mentor? They're going to show them how to get through this and how to use the products to work the best.
Well, there are some cards with before and afters, and Rachel, you showed those to me, I think, when we were together last. Didn't you get those from ISA Sales Tools? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, Jen's holding them up right there. And they're wonderful. They're the same size and everything. They have a before and after. You can get them in weight loss. You can get them in performance. You can even have the Millionaire one, which is about money. And I keep them in my purse in the same way and hand them out to people. And it's just as easy, if it's not easier. I mean, these products really work, and they're life-changing. And so. Right.
And the other piece I would say, because I think I know what you're talking about, Shelley, is we're not a one-hit wonder, and we're not a one product type company. Mm-hmm. And you want people to understand Isagenix is about results. It's not about some magic pill or some special something you put on yourself, or a patch or a this or a that. It's none of that. It's let's take some products that will get rid of the junk, flush the bad out, take a shower on the inside, and flood your body with incredible nutrition. So would you like to have something that gives somebody a temporary something? Or would you actually like to show somebody the way for the road to health long term? And that's just a conversation. And I can tell you that once they just didn't know what they didn't know at that point. But we have some incredible tools, and also the To-Go app, the To-Go app, which is incredible, which, by the way, after New Year kickoff, it's going to go next level. And it's going to go next level again throughout 2017. So if you really want to get used to it now, I highly recommend that app. There's a low charge for it. I can't remember what it is now. Is it $30, $40, something like that? You have access to it on your phone, and you can send magazine articles, the lookbook, digital lookbook, the PDFs, videos. And when you send those through private message or through text message, you actually get a message when they look at it. It's incredible. So, Shelley, there's so many great tools. And if you were out and about with someone and you wanted to show them some before and afters, you can send them a digital link to the lookbook just like that using that app.
Okay, the one thing that I do use a lot from my previous company when I'm talking about this one is the fact that I love the fact that there's not a lot of pills to take. I actually can drink myself and eat myself to health, and I'm replacing what I would purchase for my lunch and breakfast with these products, which is averaging out to a little less than what I'd actually spend per day on those.
Mm-hmm. Bingo! You're redirecting spending money you're already spending. I mean, it's just food budget. So you're taking, it's not new money. It's money you have right here that you're just moving right here. And so we're showing people how to save, but to actually take, nutrition into their body that's actually feeding and fueling their body instead of poisoning it. Let's be real, right? I mean, a lot of times what we're eating and we're just grabbing it really fast to show someone how to feel incredible. And then if they choose to share it with other people, it turns that savings actually into an income. So again, it's learning how to have these conversations, right? To where it becomes effortless and easy and it just flows out your mouth, and that you know what's going to come up in conversations so that you can actually kind of stop it there at the pass right before it even becomes an objection, because you've talked about it in the initial conversation or in the initial presentation.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
All right. So do you think it's better to bring up how much like Isagenix might cost like per day? Or do you think you should try to talk to someone and say like, all right, how much are you spending on food every month? So that way they could like what kind of comparison do you think you should make?
I actually do both. It is important to have that conversation. And usually with Michael and me, if you hear us talk about Isagenix, we're actually talking about it through the conversation before it even gets to cost. Mm-hmm. Because here's what we have learned. We have learned that food is a buy-as-you-go process. Where you live isn't. You know how much your rent is. You know how much your mortgage is. If you have a car payment, you know what the car payment is. You know what your lease payment is. You know how much your phone bill is. You know what you're paying your cell phone bill. You know what you're paying for cable or whatever it is. Like, we know what those things are. And then when somebody says, how much do you spend on food? All of a sudden there's this pause, there's this hesitation. So you want to have that conversation from the very beginning, right? And say, because they're going to shake their head. They're going to be like, yeah, you know what? You're probably right. And to let them know the reason is because it's a buy-as-you-go process. Throughout the week, throughout the month, we're going in and getting a sandwich at the sandwich shop. We're going out to dinner with our family. We're buying a few groceries here and there, and then we go to Starbucks. And so there's all of this. So we let them know what we do in Isagenix, this food system, this nutritional system, you're getting 30 days all at once. And so then you can break it down for them and say, cost per meal. Are you going to have 1 shake a day? You're going to have 2 shakes a day. Having that conversation early on, and it can be really, really quick, it does help in the end to not have sticker shock. The reason there's sticker shock is because they're not used to buying 30 days all at once. But once you break it down for them, they understand. And then I also let them know that initial 30 days is like hitting the reset. And again, remember, you're selling yourself. I'm going to coach you through the whole process. We're going to really know what's working through for you. So by day 20, 21, 25, we're going to know what you're going to need for the next 30 days. And then we can take a look and see what we need. Is it fewer products, maybe more of this, less of this? You want them to know that you're going to work with them. And that if someone buys a President's Pack, you want them to understand that's hitting the reset button, but it's not that they're going to be spending $559 every month, because then they think, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I can't do this. So it's having that conversation. But to answer your question, it's really both. You want them to have an awareness of cost. I do have an Evernote that I created on cost. Michael did a great video. And he also created a PDF, and I will put it in the team pages when we're done. Awesome.
And I have a setup question. When you enroll somebody, do you automatically set up their auto shipment for the next month during the time of enrollment? And what do you, like if they buy a 30-day, do you just go in and recreate that 30-day? That's what I've been doing. But I want to know what you know.
I've gone in, yes, I always set up the auto ship always, because you want that as a placeholder for them to get the best deal. So, and I always let them know that. We're going to set you up on auto ship at the time of enrollment because I want you to get the best price. But I always let them know, again, that's a part of the conversation of the coaching. Like, you're going to have me. So I just want you to know that what's in there right now is probably not what's going to stay in there. And then there was a period of time that Michael and I really felt like we wanted to teach the team to put in 4 canisters of shake or 4 boxes of shake, because that gets you close to 100 BV. And then if for whatever reason the ball was dropped and you didn't get back with that person, at least all this stuff didn't come to them that they're going to return, because people are less likely to return just shakes. So sometimes, especially if I'm in a hurry, I'll just put in 4 shakes in there, because I want to get through that process and get them going, because I know we're going to go in and change it anyway. When we get to day 25, day 26, we're going to go in there and put in what they really need. But yes, I always set that up. That's really important, because you never want anyone to feel that Isagenix is 9 days or Isagenix is 30 days. So I really try and get away from even calling it that. I call it the cleansing and fat burning system. I don't like calling it 30 days, because in my mind, I feel like I'm setting them up for failure, because they're going to think I'm only going to do Isagenix for 30 days. So if it's weight loss, I'd say something like this. Pam, have you ever tried to lose weight before? And she'll say, oh yeah, I've tried, many different things. Okay, well, how much weight do you want to lose? I want to lose about 35 pounds. Okay, well, about how long do you think, judging from when you've tried to lose weight before, how long do you think it would take you to lose 30 pounds? Well, probably 3 or 4 months. Okay, you know what? That's great. I think that's a real practical, realistic expectation. So I want you to know I'm going to be with you every step of the way. Let's start off this month with the value pack, with the President's Pack. I want you to have those chocolates for your cleanse days. Friends, don't let friends cleanse without Isodelites chocolates. I want you to have bars so that when you're on the go, I want you to win. I don't want you to fail. And if you don't have time to blend up a quick shake, grab a bar, because I want you to have that incredible nutrition. So let's do that. And then about 15, 16 days in, let's talk again, and then we can set you up for the next 30 days, because I want you to have success. So those are the types of conversations that I'm having, is that you want to, from the very beginning, set an expectation that there's going to be another conversation, and really set people up to win.
Got it. That's good. That makes sense.
Awesome. Well, guys, I hate to do this, but we're actually getting company, and I got the signal that they just pulled up in the driveway, but let's do this again.
Yes, we will absolutely have you on again very, very soon. Thank you so much for spending so much time with us, and thank you all for hopping on. Isn't she awesome? We just need to do what Lynn tells us to do. We need to do.
Yes.
Okay. Everything.
Cast the vision. Cast a huge vision today, you guys, with your group, your team, no matter how big or how small. Let's make a focus of casting a vision, what's possible, both, body, living out of a better body, and most definitely living out of a bigger bank account, because the more we get, the more we earn, the more we can give. So
right.
Game on.
Executive? Who's going executive?
Yay! I'm going executive again.
Never stop going executive.
Yep, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks for hopping on.
Thank you.